All right, guys, it has been 3 weeks since I had my big cancer surgery, and I thought it was finally time to fill you in on the last couple weeks since January 29th and what everything looks like moving forward.
Shouldn't be using my pockets when I have my fanny pack. I have so many snacks in this bad boy. I just have to figure out what vibe it's gonna be. Oh, I'm ready.
I cannot believe you right now. I'm like, and you are so adjusted to really
It's not
good.
adjusted.
Hey, it never stops, does it? What's going on behind the backpack?
I'm pumping my boobs before I go to surgery.
It's a big day.
We're like 40 minutes out of schedule, so it's just 40 minutes until I get to eat because I'm starving.
Yeah, it's
So
you got to have goals. You got to be thinking about that next meal.
add these in.
It's just tons of fun. There's nothing going on in that thing. I was hoping there'd be something interesting to watch, but there's not. This is gonna be a breeze. Walk in the park, just getting out of here. It's easy for me to say.
You didn't have to get stuck with needles.
No, I don't
I got
like
a
that.
heparin shot
I don't
in my
even.
arm.
I don't even like looking at your IV. It makes me feel funny. And you're over there yawning, totally not even phased, going about your business. You feeling positive going in?
Yeah, I'm just hungry. I have a headache actually because I haven't had any sugar, like caffeine.
Do you want a snack from my fanny pack? You can't. I feel okay. I wish that I
You
brought
just
them
offered
for
me stacks from your fanny pack.
I brought them for me, but I mean, if you weren't banned from it, I would give you snacks. I mean, this will be handy in the future. It will be. I mean, there will be occasions when you can actually have the food.
I can't believe you just did that.
It'll be okay.
For those of you that haven't tuned in before, I'm Katie, and right before Christmas, I was diagnosed with a level 4 nodular melanoma. It was a mole found that I knew I had on my left abdomen. I had gotten bigger during my third pregnancy. I had just had a baby in October, and the mole, it was on my stomach. I thought it was just getting bigger, but then it changed in color and it bled, so I got it cut off, and it turns out it was a big melanoma. So January 29th, I was going to have a wide local excision performed right on the original spot of the mole, which is where they cut a large area around and take off more skin, because my initial shaved biopsy, the margins weren't clear. So when they took off the original mole, the area that they took off still had cancer on the edges. So the idea of the surgery was to take off a bigger chunk of skin. Hopefully the margins would be clear, and that would remove it. But because of the size of my melanoma, and they wanted to check if it had traveled to either of my lymph nodes. If it had traveled to my lymph nodes, that would amplify things from like a level or a stage 1 cancer to a stage 3, because it traveled away from the original site of the cancer. So went to Pittsburgh. I went to UPMC Hillman Cancer Center on a Friday. The morning of, I had a lymphoscintigraphy, which is where they took a needle and they injected some nuclear medicine 4 times around the area of my original mole melanoma. And it stung like a hornet. So if anyone's going to have that done, I know I have a lot of people watching that are going to be on similar journeys, and I'll be honest with you, it stung like a son of a gun. Now, I had myself psyched out. I knew I was going to get this injection, but I actually thought they were injecting it near my lymph nodes. So I was like panicking that I was going to have these needles in my armpit and down in my groin. That had me really amped up. But the fact that they did it right around the original mole, which was right here in my abdomen, made me a lot more comfortable, because it's not a terrible spot. I have heard that people have gotten the lymphoscintigraphy done like in between their toes and like in their toenails, because that's where the mole was. So wherever the original melanoma is where they will inject you. And then you wait about 45 minutes, and then they put you through the scanner. It's very similar to a CAT scan machine. and they see where the nuclear medicine traveled to, like where it deposited to, because that means it's the closest lymph nodes nearby. Well, mine was in my left abdomen, pretty much the middle of my body, so it didn't surprise anybody that it went to both areas, so my armpit and my groin. So went upstairs, got ready for pre-op. You know, they did blood work. I had to pee in a cup. I wasn't pregnant. What else did they do? They had me get in my gown. I mean, it happened very, very quickly. They were running ahead of schedule, so I thought my surgery was at 12:30, and I think they started wheeling me back to the operating room by 11:50. I had to pump one more time. I had to dump it anyway because of the nuclear medicine. I had to pump and dump my breast milk for 24 hours, which I already knew, so I had to pump one more time. They were actually so ahead of schedule. They were waiting on me because I was pumping. So did all this stuff, got into surgery, and the area around my mole on my abdomen, they did an 11-centimeter diameter like removal of skin. So they cut a circle in 11 centimeters. That was the multiplication that they had done to figure out how wide they needed to go to make sure they got clear margins. So I ended up, so they cut it in a circle. So when they brought the skin back together, they could put it in a straight line. I will show that to you, what it looks like. Bigger than I thought. So it's about a 6-inch incision, and it goes over to pretty much over to my belly button. It's tight. It's pulled together pretty tightly. My armpit has a 3-inch incision, which is where they took out 3 lymph nodes from the armpit. And then they went down to the groin, and it's about a 2-inch incision right there.
Goo.
Okay, I'm gonna take the bandages off. I have 3 bandages.
At least 2 of the bandages.
Okay, so it's like waterproof.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you can. Ooh, that is
Ow.
sticky. Might
Like
need
I'm
to-
unwrapping a present.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, so like the skin under my armpit is like numb. I didn't really feel that at all.
I can't really see real well, but
I think zoom in.
okay. So
Okay.
it still has like the surgical
Okay, I
tape
can't
stuff.
see like under my boobs, so.
What's the best approach here?
Shiz on there too. Okay. Well, this isn't going to be like a great reveal because there's like really not a lot to see because they put this stuff over top
Oh,
of
the
it.
tape and stuff.
Ow.
Oh.
We were really on pins and needles waiting for those results because, I mean, that would kind of change everything, right? Like, I mean, so had the surgery on a Friday. I did not ask or accept any narcotics. I went home. They just told me to alternate Tylenol and ibuprofen, which I did throughout the weekend. By Sunday night, I was emotionally just not in a good place. I was in a really, really dark place. For you guys that know me, I don't do sitting still very well. I don't like idle hands. I like to have projects to work on, and I like to have things to do. And after cancer surgery and you're just waiting for results, I really felt like everything was in limbo. I just didn't know if I should make plan, how far in the future should I be thinking? Am I going to have to cancel everything because I have to get immunotherapy? They don't give chemotherapy for melanoma. So I knew I wasn't getting chemotherapy, but all of these treatments were still on the table. So by Sunday night, I was not in a good place. I was really not in a good place. Waiting on the lymph node results, that was kind of like the big thing. The healing process was going pretty well. I mean, I couldn't move correctly because like you have to remember it's like right perfectly here in my abdomen is like where the incision is. So like literally every muscle is tied to it. The armpit really hurt. The armpit was really, really numb to touch. Like it felt like I had a nerve block pretty much the entire way around it. Today is exactly 3 weeks since my surgery, and it still feels very strange to put on deodorant. Like it feels very weird. A lot of the tissue is still kind of numb and tender, and I'm having excruciating pain. I can't extend my arm. Like, see, my right arm is totally extended. the muscles in this one are just really locked up, and that's where I'm experiencing the most like residual side effects from the surgery. It's very similar to anyone that has had breast cancer surgery and had a lumpectomy. I'm experiencing the same sensations down the arm. I had the surgery January 29th, and then by Thursday I was getting my hair done, and I got a phone call from Pittsburgh. They were telling me the results of the surgery, the sentinel node biopsy. So, and the good news is that they were clear. The lymph nodes were clear, and that was a huge weight off my shoulders. But as with everything that's been going on with me lately, the good news was followed up by a but. That ... but. So the lymph nodes were clear. All 5 lymph nodes were clear. I read the report. It's a very lengthy report. All the lymph nodes were clear. However, due to the size of my melanoma, the aggressiveness of nodular melanoma, my young age, and some other prognostic indicators that I can talk about, they are likely going to opt to do targeted precision therapy or an entire round of immunotherapy. Unfortunately, I won't know the answers to that specific question until March 3rd, which is when my follow-up appointment is. But the nurse was pretty realistic with me on the phone and just said, these are great results, but because of all the other things, don't get your hopes up. He will likely want, maybe even put me in a clinical trial for something. So again, I got all this great news. I was feeling really good about it, but the uncertainty of not knowing what's coming next makes it really difficult for me to plan really anything after a certain point. And perhaps maybe they won't recommend treatment, and I would just get chest x-rays every 3 months for the next 5 years to make sure if anything were to show up again. And then obviously following up with a dermatologist for skin checks. The healing was really, really easy. And then I felt like last week number 2, I hit a wall because like my arm, it really hurts to like reach into a cabinet. It hurts to put sheets on a bed. It hurts to grab the kids in a certain way to like lift them up. So I'm really struggling with that because here I am at week 3 of recovery and, you know, not feeling the best or not totally feeling like myself. I actually cut off all my hair, so that was exciting. I cut off all my hair because at the same time, you guys know I've been breastfeeding. I have a newborn. He's 3 months old. And I was producing like 100 ounces of milk a day, and I purposefully dropped it as much as I could, as quickly as I could, because I thought maybe I'd be starting immunotherapy. So I really was working towards getting my production down. And in that huge drop in milk production, my hormones completely shifted, that postpartum hormonal shift. My hair started falling out, shedding, which has happened with all my other babies. And it did this time too. So my hair's just been like falling out in clumps and clumps and clumps. It's still falling out a ton. Thankfully, I have a lot of it, but I got my hair cut off and now I can just wear it my naturally wavy way. Saves me some time. My armpit has been bothering me so much, and because of the lymph nodes collect fluid, and there's no longer the lymph node basin there, so your body's just like holding on to these pockets of fluid and causing swelling. So it was like causing extreme swelling in my left breast, like to the point where my left breast was like significantly bigger than my right one. I was having trouble pumping it. It was just becoming like, it's really been challenging dealing with post-surgery and breastfeeding all at the same time because they don't typically go hand in hand. So I've been working through that. I'm ready. I'm ready to be done. I have enough milk produced and stored probably for 5.5 months at this point. My body's just tired. I'm tired. I'm ready to focus on the next thing. And right now for me, breastfeeding and pumping and being tethered to a pump, it's just really not one of them for me at the moment. And if you guys haven't yet and you've been watching our videos and you love them, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you'll always get notified whenever I start to ramble and we have another video up.